a look at on the tour today is that building over there with the glass dome and the German flags on it. That today is the Reichstag, the German House of Parliament. The Reichstag was originally built in the year 1894. In 1894, we saw a Kaiser, or an emperor, in charge of this country. Therefore, it seems a bit ridiculous for him to be building a parliament building, a building of democracy. Well, it turns out the Kaiser found this building to be such a joke that he renamed it the Royal Monkey House. So puts guys in there to goof off, have a good time, do whatever they want except for actually be a parliament, because in the end of the day, he's the one who makes all the last decisions. He's the one with all the power. Therefore, this building here in Berlin was laughed off as a joke all the way until 1933. 1933, this building becomes a turning point in history. Now the reason for that is in 1933, this building mysteriously catches on fire. When this building catches on fire, here in Germany, here in Berlin especially, you have the Nazis and the communists fighting for ultimate control of this country, ultimate control of the government. When this building catches on fire, the Nazis are the first ones at the scene of the crime. When they get there, they find something that is all too perfect, because what they find out front of this building happens to be a half-naked, drunken, Dutch, communist man dancing in the flames saying, I did it, I burnt down the Reichstag. Dance just like that. Now how convenient. Now don't be too quick to judge this poor guy. This guy's name was Marinus van der Lubbe, and yes, he was caught saying, I did it, but at the same time, research into his background has shown that he had a mental illness that causes him to take the blame for acts of arson that he has nothing to do with. A building burns down in Poland and he's in France and he's like, yeah, I did that. Like, are you sure, man? It's like 2 countries that way. Research has also shown that this building caught on fire in 5 different places at the same time. Now, don't get me wrong, Dutch people are very fast, but I don't think one Dutch dude is fast enough to get around this entire building to 5 different places at one point in history. In reality, the facts do not matter. Nazis got him at the scene of the crime saying, I did it. That's exactly what they need. What happens next is Adolf Hitler goes to the president of Germany, a man by the name of Paul von Hindenburg, goes to the president and says, look at this. Look at what the communists have done in our capital of Berlin. They have started their communist revolution. They have burnt down our Reichstag. What you need to do right here and now, Hindenburg, is give me martial law. Give me emergency powers so I can put an end to this communist revolution and restore order here in Germany. Now, at this point in history, von Hindenburg was about 86 years old. He was getting quite senile in his old age. At the same time, he had an extreme disliking for the Communist Party. Both of those factors did allow him to hand those powers over to Adolf Hitler. Hitler was only intended to keep them for 30 days. But as we all know, once Hitler has those powers, he is never going to return them. He uses them to do whatever he wants. He goes on to wipe out not just the communists, but anyone else who stands in his way. He goes on to murder people, throws them in concentration camps, uses those powers eventually in 1939 to bring us all into the Second World War. So the Reichstag fire of 1933, had things not happened the way that they did, the entire historical landscape may look completely different than it does today. Also keep in mind, that Reichstag fire to this day has never officially been solved. Nobody knows exactly who set that all up. Seems pretty likely it was orchestrated by the actual Nazi Party, but anyone who could have given proof to such a theory either passed away in World War II or committed suicide before they could be brought in for questioning. So do keep that in mind when you think of all the factors that led up to the Second World War and Hitler rising to power. After the actual fire, Nazis don't rebuild the building. They don't need it. They've got everything they want. World War II, this building is badly bombed out by the Allied forces. The building is not rebuilt until 1960. 1960, we have an East and a West Germany, East and a West Berlin. West Germany don't feel too comfortable having their capital in a divided city, so they moved the capital out of Berlin over to a city in West Germany, a city known as Bonn. Berlin today has only been the capital of the United German nation once again since 1999. So if you think about it, it is a relatively new capital. Now over the years, the Reichstag has gone through refurbishment. The entire interior has been redone. Most important thing that they have changed is, of course, up top, that glass dome. That glass dome was not always there. Turns out it was added in the year 2000 by a British architect known as Lord Norman Foster. The glass dome was added there, not just because it looks cool, but because it carries some very powerful ideas behind it. The idea of transparency and checks and balances within today's German democracy, today's German government. Now the reason I say this is if you get a chance to go inside that Reichstag, what you are intended to do is not just look out those windows and see the city of Berlin. What you are meant to do is look down. Because when you look down, you're looking directly into the debating chambers of today's parliament. You're looking into what makes the modern German democracy tick. The idea truly behind this glass dome is that the German people, anytime they choose to do so, can go inside their Reichstag, take a look down on those politicians and make sure that those politicians are doing the will of the people. If those politicians ever forget, they need a reminder about who gave them their power, who elected them there in the first place. They can look up and see the people. Very important idea of transparency and checks and balances within today's German government, especially when you take a look at the past 100 years of government control over this country. Now, if you get a chance, I highly recommend that you visit the Reichstag. It is one of the must-see sites while you're here in Berlin. Best thing about it is it is free of charge to go and visit. If you're going to go, though, you go at either 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 p.m. at night. You go in the middle of the day, you're going to wait in line for like 2 to 3 hours, and honestly, who the hell wants to do that? I can think of better things to do with like 2 to 3 hours, maybe go on a free tour, a walking tour, or something else to that standard. But if you get a chance, try to come back and visit the Reichstag. You go at 10 p.m., you can hang out in there until midnight before the guard comes down. He's like, hey, like, get the hell out. I got family and kids at home, like, I want to leave. So do keep that in mind. Now, we are going to move on. Next site we're going to see is just down there. It's the very controversial Holocaust Memorial.